From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update. Your weekend weather update is made possible by Caltrans District 2.
Good afternoon, everyone. Things will probably start getting interesting here through the afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms certainly in the forecast. We've also got some gusty winds out there. A lot to unpack here, so let's get you right into it. First and foremost, cooler this weekend, and that's what we're going to experience here for today and even tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms today for a good portion of Northern California. A closer look at that in a second. Gusty south and southwest winds today as well, not just from the thunderstorms that we're looking at those erratic gusty outflow winds, but the overall wind pattern is calling for some strong winds. And that's mainly associated with the area of low pressure that is responsible for the showers and thunderstorms. So again, a very interesting pattern we got going on today. And we go into the long range looking for next week. You know, the thing is, we're looking at temperatures below normal last week. That's going to stick around. We're going to be looking at temperatures below normal most likely through all of next week, staying below 100 degrees. All right, so here's your neighborhood forecast for today. The Modoc County Eastern Mountains most likely looking at dry conditions today, but elsewhere is going to be looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some areas seeing it worse than others. So here's what to expect today. Here's what I'm watching. So first and foremost, strong to maybe even a few severe thunderstorms out there. And I think Siskiyou County is where we can see that best potential. Now we also have areas of heavy rain, lightning, and with some of those stronger thunderstorms, the potential for some hail, and not to mention some gusty outflow winds. Speaking of those winds, gusty southwest winds in general, especially for the valley eastward and into central Siskiyou County eastward, really Siskiyou County eastward, and then strong thunderstorm outflow winds as I mentioned. So you've got thunderstorms creating some strong erratic winds, and then the overall wind pattern giving us some very strong winds coming in from the south and west. Now, on the flip side of the heavy rainfall, gusty winds from thunderstorms and lightning, we've also got areas of dry and windy conditions out there as well. Now that's mainly for Modoc County and the Eastern Mountains, and that's where we have red flag warning because of the dry and windy conditions out there. So again, things very interesting. So the red flag warning for central western Siskiyou County, that's because of the thunderstorms. Erratic gusty winds from the thunderstorms could lead to rapid spread of a new fire. Not to mention the fact that lightning, there could be some dry lightning outside of where the heavy rainfall is, right? But then this red flag warning is for different reasons. It's because of the dry and windy conditions that we'll see in Modoc County and in eastern Lassen County. That's for today. All right, so let's take a look at the winds. Now, as we go into later this afternoon, some of the strongest winds will be the north end of the valley and some very gusty winds off to the east as well. But what we want you to take note is, obviously, this is going to be an area of concern for the park fire today. Even though we've got chances for rain in the forecast, it doesn't look like we're going to see a lot of rain over the park fire. In fact, if any. So yes, we're going to have higher humidity as a result of those strong southwesterly flow of winds that will help to offset the fire danger over the park fire. But, you know, the thing is, it's still an active fire. So we get some strong winds that's going to give more oxygen to the fire itself, and that may create some more flare-ups. This will be interesting to see what happens, unfortunately, to see what happens with that fire here. But notice the winds aren't nearly as strong to the north and west of the valley, this general area right here. So that really won't have a major impact on the Boise fire. The winds will be a little elevated, yes, and that's going to be a little bit of a concern, but you've got the higher humidity over there as well, and that's also going to help to offset it. Now, as we go into Sunday, the winds overall are expected to die down, that is. But notice still pretty breezy off to the east. This could keep that fire danger elevated even into tomorrow. And then going into your Monday, the wind's probably not as strong over here, not to mention the valley elsewhere. So again, really the overall trend for the winds is dying down after today. So again, we're talking about the winds, right? And that fire weather outlook is in the elevated to even critical category, especially for northeastern Modoc County. And of course, going into tomorrow, again, still elevated because those winds will still be fairly strong, and not to mention dry conditions. So let's talk about those dry conditions. Okay, we're going to take you into this afternoon. So still, see, this is where we have that highest fire danger, right? 12% relative humidity, and then on the east side of Lassen County. Now, again, what you'll notice, instead of the 15% we've seen through most of the week in Chico, we're up to 35%. So we are seeing decent humidity levels for this time of the year. Again, that's going to help to offset the gusty winds for the park fire, but that does not mean we can let our guards down and the firefighters can let their guards down, because those winds are still going to be a bit of a concern. But as we go into your Sunday, we're going to be back to where we typically are. Back in the single digits, unfortunately, for places like Chico. It looks like it's not going to be quite as dry to the east, but it's still looking at that elevated fire danger off to the east. And then we go into Monday, same situation. I mean, good recovery overnight with those humidity levels going back up, but then back down again for those afternoon hours. So looking at the fire potential, the area's in orange because of the wind, and not to mention the dry conditions, especially off to the east. So this is the area of low pressure responsible for those winds I've just been talking about, but it's also responsible for that southerly, southwesterly flow of winds, which is coming over the ocean. That is what's helping to bring in those higher humidity levels as a result. But as this area of low pressure kind of shifts off to the north and east, it begins to move out and our chances for rain move out. However, today, areas in green, light green, indicate this is just where we have the best setup for thunderstorms to develop. We could see a little bit outside of that, but you'll notice it does go into Bernie, eastern Tehama County that is, but just outside of Chico and Willows. Now, if we see a stray shower or thunderstorm in this area, don't be surprised, but I think as you head south of Redding, the chances start to diminish. The darker green is a Category 1. So the Storm Prediction Center has 5 categories of the potential for severe weather. Dark green being 1, that's the lowest on the scale. And then, of course, this kind of purplish, pinkish color is a Category 5. So 1 out of 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. We rarely get into that 4 and 5 category, if even in that Category 3. So this is actually kind of a big deal when we get those darker greens in here, because that just means that we've got a really good potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms in that area. Now, a lot of times in the green, I've seen this happen many, many times, that even though it's not in that darker green or even yellow category, we can still get strong to severe thunderstorms in this area as well. So that's something that bears watching as well. Because typically, even with these strong thunderstorms, again, another element that needs to be mentioned is maybe the potential for some flash flooding. Should a thunderstorm kind of stick around for a while and kind of stall itself out, we'll see. So let's take a look at Futurecast. Here we are at 3 o'clock. There's everything kind of flaring up. So Red Bluff, northward. Yeah, you got the chance for thunderstorms. Could it make its way down to Corning? Maybe. Could it make its way down to Chico, Willows, Oroville? The chances are definitely getting a lot slimmer. And then you'll notice it's still fairly dry to the east of that line. So even eastern Siskiyou County, Modoc, Lassen, eastern Shasta, and even eastern Tehama, dry conditions. Now let's take you into your Saturday 6 p.m. You see how it's not as widespread. So I think the strongest thunderstorms will be in the mid-afternoon hours, and then late in the afternoon, early evening, it starts to kind of shift more to the north and east. So now we're seeing less activity to the west of that, but still maybe some leftover activity for Redding. But as you head to Red Bluff, Corning, Chico, most likely drying out. But look at Bernie. Yeah, Bernie could see a stray shower or thunderstorm. Extreme eastern Siskiyou County. But look at Modoc. I mean, again, fairly dry. Dry for the eastern mountains in Lassen County, and not to mention in Plumas County as well. Then we take into tonight, it's gone. Again, some of that may just skirt western Siskiyou County. So Tule Lake, Newell, yeah, maybe a stray thunderstorm for you, as well as Doris, for example, too. But by 10 o'clock, it's mostly gone. It looks like a few showers here along the coast. That'll probably continue overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, maybe a stray shower, but no thunderstorms are expected. And then I do expect that all to pretty much dissipate by the afternoon on Sunday. Sunday night, it's looking fairly dry. And going into Monday, looking at dry conditions as well. So it's today. Today's the main event. After we get through today, I think we're going to be okay. All right, long range, looks fairly dry through next week. However, there is an area of low pressure that's going to dive down from the north. That could bring everyone in Northern California a chance for showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms out there as well. This isn't set in stone. We're going to watch the forecast models this week, but just kind of I'm going to put it in the 7-day forecast as a heads up that toward the end of the week, we could be looking at the potential for some activity, maybe even into Saturday. But then by that Sunday, it looks like we're talking a week from tomorrow that we're looking at here. It should be drying out. So let's take a look at what that means for our temperatures. Area of low pressure, that's responsible for the gusty winds, the thunderstorms, not to mention the cooler weather. This will be moving to the north and east on Sunday. That's going to allow this ridge of high pressure to try to build in a little bit. So we may see a slight increase in our temperatures by Monday, Tuesday of next week. This will continue to move out. This will allow temperatures to increase a little bit again, but this area of low pressure coming in behind it will be moving in by the middle and latter part of next week. This will then eventually, as you saw on Friday, maybe that chance for rain, that's because of this low pressure system right here. Not to mention bringing us cooler weather associated with it. The key is this. Yes, the chances for showers and thunderstorms are on Friday. I may be taking that out over the next few days. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this low pressure system as we progress through the week. But bottom line, most, if not all, of the long-range forecast models agree that we'll continue to see these areas of pressure. And again, the positioning of these low pressure systems just depends each and every single day. We'll see, but sometime maybe just off the coast, maybe a little bit more to the north. But bottom line, it's pushing this heat and keeping it out of the way. So as a result, we're going to keep our temperatures below normal. And then, of course, as we go into that next weekend, that'll kind of scoot on out. Maybe some warmer air moving in from the south, because again, that main bubble of heat is way off to our east. But we could be looking at some heat coming in from the south by next weekend. All right, here is your forecast for today. So you can clearly see that line where the thunderstorms may be. Lassen Park, maybe, but I expect mainly places like Fall River Mills, Bernie, Shingletown, Manton, and Red Bluff. South of that, the chances are slimmer. Could we see a stray shower or thunderstorm for all of these areas here? Corning southward, maybe. But again, those chances are going to be much slimmer. Then, of course, Trinity County, Del Norte, Humboldt counties, right, all seeing that chance for thunderstorms as well. But dry and no thunderstorms for Modoc County, Lassen, or even most of Plumas County as well. So there's your 7-day outlook for the valley. It dries out by tomorrow. And then we dry through most of next week, but by Friday, got that chance for showers in the forecast. Taking you for the North Coast, showers, thunderstorms in the forecast for today, drying out on Sunday. Then through next week, it should be dry. And again, that chance for showers and thunderstorms possibly by the end of next week. Your 7-day outlook for Siskiyou, Modoc, in the Eastern Mountains. Again, what you'll notice here for everybody, now Susanville, this should be looking at a chance for showers there as well. Not sure what happened, but that's also be looking at a chance for showers. But not to mention out towards Modoc County, and not to mention into Mount Shasta as well. But what you'll also notice is those temperatures really most likely staying below normal through next week. That's your afternoon update. Be sure to stick around and watch for the 6 o'clock in the evening forecast as we go into tonight and get a better idea as what we can go into tomorrow.